In times like this, we need to remember some few things, like always washing our hands, knowing and learning how to keep our distance, and of course not selling players in ridiculous transfers such as Arthur to Juventus. Like, what in the world is Barcelona thinking? What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at 4 different pieces of news, 3 of those which affect the way that Barcelona can shape their midfield for the next following season. So if that sounds of your interest, be sure to drop us a like, leave us a subscribe. That actually really helps a lot, and any comment and all of that is always appreciated. So let's start off right away with news number 1. And the news number 1 is the one that I hinted on in the intro, and that is Arthur to Juventus. I must be honest that it was a huge relief hearing that Arthur, the player himself, confirmed that the main thing for him right now is to stay at Barcelona, and that is his only main priority. That for me is a huge relief. Why? Because I think he's one of the most seamless players to ever transition into our midfield. He just looks made and built for that position. And seeing Barcelona potentially letting him the open door to go out there and seek somewhere else, it just really worries me a lot. It really does, because it signifies that we have no plan in place. We have no plan. The news first stemmed a few days back that said that Arthur was given the green light for Barcelona to have contacts with different clubs, and the main clubs interested in that were Juventus. For Juventus, of course, Arthur would be an incredible player, and for that matter, for any club out there. But I was thinking then, why would Barcelona give that green light? Well, many of you may already know this, but there has been some intrications here and there with Arthur and the board, and especially Valverde and the managers at the time, because they were saying that Arthur was not showing enough sort of commitment like other players, not being as kind of professional, you would say, as others. But that for me is something that is way more easily fixed than having a player that is simply not able to fit and mold into your team. I think that we can take that L, that loss, and let Arthur perhaps need to learn more of the strings to be a professional elite player at this level, than actually buy a midfielder that could completely not fit into our system. I like Arthur very much, and hearing that his priority is to remain at Barcelona is probably the best thing I've heard since this entire lockdown has occurred. The next news surrounds another midfielder, and that is Tanguy Ndombele. If you haven't seen my video already, or the Barcelona transfer targets for next season, I said there that Tanguy Ndombele was a player that, in my opinion, is kind of there and thereabouts. I think he would fit into what Barcelona want to do. I think he would be a good player for that. But the main thing was that he hadn't demonstrated the levels that he reached at Lyon with Tottenham Hotspur. And yes, you could say that Mourinho had an effect on that, but of course you might want to have your player to at least show something. And all of the times I've seen Spurs, there wasn't a single moment where Ndombele made me go like, okay, wow, this guy, if we single him out, he has done a very good performance. He just hasn't managed to fit in there. And that gives me a lot of worry when you say, would he fit then at Barcelona? I don't really know. A lot of people may calling him the new Yaya Touré, or maybe Arthur Keita to some extent. And I don't want to make the comparisons, but apart from different physical attributes, he might be a player that is most kind of similar to others than not necessarily Yaya Touré and Arthur Keita. If Barcelona were to sign Ndombele, I wouldn't necessarily be very angry or mad or disappointed. I would just have a very big question mark, leaving whether that player could actually succeed at the club or not. And those advancements seems to already being getting spiced up, because Ndombele has said that he is leaving his options open as to what could happen next season. And we know that Tottenham Hotspur could be interested in players that we already have, like Nelson Semedo, maybe Rakitic, so on and so forth. So a deal there could happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's any sort of updates coming in the next few days. The next piece of news is one that I think could really have major implications into the way that we shape our team for next season. And that is that there's been a lot of talk from Quique Setién, from Messi allegedly. You don't know what Messi says, has to have a huge question mark next to it, because we don't know whether it was actually Leo saying it or any reporter by the sake trying to make something up. But there has been talk as to whether Coutinho could actually keep a place in the Barcelona squad for next season. Coutinho could be coming back, and with what Quique Setién has said, it would probably be in a midfield position. And that is something that for me is very interesting, because that is where we should have played Philippe from the get-go. That should have been his first position as soon as he arrived at Barcelona. In my eyes, we were bringing in Dembele to kind of take the role of that Neymar, and then we brought in Coutinho to take the role of that Iniesta. But it seems that Coutinho took over the role of that Neymar and then Dembele disappeared. I think that if we push Coutinho back to take that kind of role of an advanced playmaker, it could work. It could work because we will have that kind of number 10 figure in the forward line with Messi, and Coutinho to take much more of the central role. Not akin to what he was playing at Liverpool, but one role that, for instance, he has been playing with Brazil in some few matches in the Copa America, and very good matches as well. I remember the match against Mexico in the World Cup 2018 was one where Coutinho also pretty much excelled in that position. So I could be a fan of Coutinho playing in the midfield, and I think that that would be a good option for us because we are lacking a player like that. Most of the times in the season or the past season, I don't know whether you consider the season over or not, I would say that a player like a Coutinho, Enrique Puig for instance of that matter as well, someone which a little bit more keen of going forward and just entering the frail of the forward line but from midfield, that was the piece that we were lacking to break teams down. And as much as a winger is needed, as much as a striker I think is needed, or a center back as well, someone in that position is mostly overlooked by all of the fans. I think that is a position that we really need. I see many people talking about Upamecano, Lautaro, Neymar, hell, I even do that myself. But a midfielder, in my eyes, is also a very big priority for Barcelona. We would get possibly, if we sell the players that we want to sell, like Vidal, like Rakitic, we could see possibly a midfield of just Arthur, De Jong, Busquets, Aleñá, and Riqui Puig, and then one extra. I think that one extra could be a player we could sign, or it could be potentially someone like Philippe Coutinho, and then we would see the money possibly to spend on someone like, well, Lautaro, Neymar, and so on, and so on, so on, so on. So I guess that if you ask me, I think Coutinho could be a very interesting option. And now last but not least, we have to talk about Jean Claire Todibo. And this kind of discussion is one that is very big. Whether Barcelona decide to keep Todibo is out of my realm of imagination. I think Todibo should be staying at Barcelona no matter the cost. Schalke have saying reportedly that they're ready to offer Amni Harit, the Moroccan international. He could be moving to Barcelona in exchange for Todibo plus some money, but only with a 25 million offer that Barcelona have in place in deal with Schalke. Schalke is not able to afford that, so they're looking for some way to bypass that. Now, whether Barcelona should allow that from happening, I think we shouldn't. I think that either if we buy a new center back and sell, for instance, Samuel Umtiti, someone like Todibo, being the fourth choice center back or being the third one, hell, maybe even the second one are already starting to kind of get a role in our team, that would be very interesting, and that would be very kind of exciting to see, because we haven't seen a young center back coming from the get-go at Barcelona in a very long time. Lenglet has done very good to enter the realm of our starting center backs, and he's doing, I would say, relatively surprisingly to my expectations. But someone like Todibo, I could see would just have an incredible ceiling. And I think it's ready for Barcelona to take some bargains. This Barcelona squad, this Barcelona board is not very comfortable with letting players develop. And that is where we're doing wrong. The thing that I really liked about Barcelona is that they were ready to take those bargains. They were ready to take those shots into the darkness and see what succeeded and see what failed. Players like Todibo, Oriol Busquets, Ludovic Reis, do you even remember him? Mateo Fernandes, Riqui Puig, Francisco Tincrao, Ansu Fati, all of those players, they need a chance to at least show something. We cannot be letting them go with only, like 10 games played, I think Todibo has maxed in the team. So we must be very serious in the way that we're going to be treating these players. And if we let Todibo, for instance, go to Everton where he's being linked, or let him go to Schalke, we're just being kind of a laughingstock for the world of Europe, because Barcelona is not following the principles that they once had in place. So guys, please let me know what you think about all of the different news, especially the ones on Coutinho and Todibo. I think those two are the ones that worry me the most because we do not know enough information on them. At least in the sense of Arthur, we know for instance that his priority is to remain at Barcelona, and that keeps me very calm. With Ndombele, to be honest, I don't really care, but Todibo and Coutinho are the ones that I really have no idea where this could go. You know, as much as I kind of like to report the news to you guys, I'm also a fan and I don't have extra information that I can just simply give to you guys. So let me know, let's start discussing. And what do you think is going to happen with especially Coutinho and Jean Claire Todibo? That's going to be everything for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to drop me a like and leave me a subscribe and let us know in the comment box down below what do you think. So that's going to be everything for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to share this video with your friends if you have learned anything new. Be sure to drop us a like, leave us a subscribe, and be ready for more videos just like this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.